Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. It's time for another This Week in Fragrance video. We have had a bunch of new men's releases announced the beginning of this year, and we've got even more to talk about today. We've got 4 fragrances to go over in this video. A Mercedes-Benz release. I don't think too many of you are pumped about that. We're gonna cover it anyway. A new Dolce Gabbana's The One, a new Ferragamo release, and a new Hermes. Actually, a whole new line starting from Hermes. We've got lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. And today's video is brought to you guys by FragranceUSA.com. Link in the description to their website. Make sure to check it out. And a code for you guys. Gent15, no S, Gent15. Will get you 15% off of your order from anything you buy on the website. In case you're unaware of Fragrance USA, they're a great discounter. They have a lot of niche fragrances, designer fragrances, completely 100% authentic. They're adding new fragrances all the time and the prices are very, very good. So make sure to check them out. Again, link in the description, Gent15, 15% off. There have been so many releases announced over the past 2-3 weeks. It feels like it's 2018 or 2019 again. 2020, as I've mentioned before, was not great for new releases. We did get a whole bunch of eau de parfum flankers, so that's something. But this year, we're seeing lots of new stuff being announced, and hopefully that continues through the year and we get some real stunners. Let's go ahead and talk about the Ferragamo first. It's called Ferragamo Intense Leather. It's already for sale on Ferragamo's website. So you can just Google this one. It should pull up their website and you can buy it right now. I think, if memory serves correctly, because I looked it up the other day, it's $97 for the 100 ml bottle size. Could be wrong, but it's right around that price. Ferragamo Intense Leather is the new men's fragrance in the Ferragamo story. A modern eau de parfum created for those who have discovered their true strength and great worth. Refined and sophisticated, this intense eau de parfum opens with fresh and vivid top notes of mandarin orange and pink peppercorn mixed with the herbaceous magnetism of clary sage absolute. Juicy accents and floral elegance follow and blend in the precious heart notes of Anurca apple accord. I'm not sure what an Anurca apple is. Somebody in the comments who's an apple aficionado, let us know what an Anurca apple is. Also, Lily of the Valley and Orris. Musk and oak moss relinquish intense sensations before leaving the scene to Ferragamo Intense Leather Absolute Accord, which is a mix of earthy facets and mellowed leather bottom notes. A men's fragrance, rich and appealing contrasts, Ferragamo Intense Leather is a more intense and sensual interpretation of modern masculinity. So we'll run through those notes again really quickly. In the top, mandarin orange, pink pepper, and clary sage. In the mid, Anurca apple, lily of the valley, and iris. And in the base, oak moss, leather, earthy notes, and musk. I would imagine a lot of you out there not overly pumped for this one. Ferragamo, the fragrance release that came out before this one, didn't really get a whole bunch of hype, kind of just came and went. And I bought that one as a tester. I cheaped out. I don't have a cap. Yeah, lame. But it didn't really stick with me, you know? I wore it a few times and it just kind of never really caught my attention all that much. Pleasant, yeah, but forgettable. Hopefully this one's different and more interesting. I mean, we got leather in there, some earthy notes. Hopefully that gives it a nice masculine push. And the dry down of the fragrance, the apple could be nice as long as it's not an overly synthetic, syrupy kind of smelling apple. Don't usually like those a whole bunch. And the iris, of course, draws my attention because I love men's fragrances with iris when it's pulled off correctly. So while this one is likely to not have a whole bunch of hype behind it once people start getting their hands on it, I'm hopeful that it's gonna be one of those surprisingly good fragrances where you don't think a whole bunch about it before it's out, and then you smell it and you're like, hey, that's actually really good. So my hopes are high, but we're gonna have to wait and see. And I also wonder if this means they're taking a step back a little bit from the Ferragamo Uomo line, because now you've got this flanker and you have the original Ferragamo that have come out, obviously in their new bottle styles with a new kind of idea behind the fragrance line. Hopefully not. Hopefully we still see Uomo fragrances from Salvatore Ferragamo. we'll have to wait and see on that too. Next up, let's talk about the new Hermes. It's called H24. This is the first new fragrance in a new fragrance line for men from Hermes since 2006, which is when Terre d'Hermes was launched, so 15 years ago. This one comes out February 2021 from the perfumer Christine Nagel. The source of inspiration for H24 is the Hermes man, the Hermes masculinity. I tried to decipher its plurality because it's not one Hermes man, but several Hermes men. And I wish to recreate this movement, this appearance, which is free and committed of an Hermes man. H24 is an extension of the Hermes universe, a world in which luxury and craft are valued at the highest level. I think it's part and parcel of the way Hermes sees things. Very discreet, elegant, and with an attention to the world. The backbone of this composition is an aromatic botanical and slightly woody note of clary sage. Narcissus Absolute, a strong and rigid note, blends with the essence of rosewood and the synthetic molecule of sclarine. This unusual note, rarely used in perfumes, came to Nagel after she visited the tailoring workshops of Hermes. It's reminiscent of warm and metallic steam and imitates applying damp cloths onto wool suits before pressing them with the heavy metal iron. So this is a fragrance where, once again, they're keeping the note breakdown really simple, very short and sweet. A lot of modern releases we're seeing now have just 3 notes, one in the top, one in the mid, one in the base, and that's it. Here, they're kicking you a whole one other note, a whopping 4. Obviously, these 4 notes don't compose the entirety of the fragrance, but these are the 4 notes that they're really wanting to emphasize. So we have Narcissus Absolute, we have Clary Sage, we have Sclarine, which I could be mispronouncing, which is kind of a green, woody, ambery scent profile, or the aroma chemical has a green, woody, ambery scent profile, and then Rosewood. That's it. With just 4 notes, there's not a whole heck of a lot to pull from as far as how this is going to smell. Obviously, they're emphasizing the botanical nature of the fragrance because they emphasize that in the write-up for the scent. With the base notes that we have looking like it's gonna have a modern amberwood sort of dry down. So hopefully they do it in a way that's unique, something that's gonna be a little interesting. With this being Hermes, I would imagine it's going to be very refined, sophisticated, mature, and should be a fragrance to look for this year. Should be one of the highlight men's designer releases this year. Next up, let's talk about the new Dolce & Gabbana's The One Luminous Night. This is their 3rd release that is a Middle Eastern exclusive, but don't worry. Eventually, you'll be able to get your hands on it. Eventually. So before this one, we had the One Royal Night and the One Mysterious Night. Those are also both obviously Middle Eastern exclusive fragrances, but eventually they made their way to the US via discounters. I imagine the One Luminous Night will be no different. Before too long, it should show up at Fragrance Net or Fragrance Buy or Fragrance X or all of the above. The One Luminous Night, a new exclusive edition by Dolce & Gabbana Beauty, presents a scent journey that will take you to the Middle East. Following, as I said before, the One Royal Night and the One Mysterious Night, this makes a 3rd exclusive edition for the Middle East to join the franchise, celebrating once more the combination of an Arabian soul with Italian essences. This fragrance explores the enigmatic world of the original The One for Men, adding a touch of the vibrant and magnetic scents of this Oriental land, speaking about the Middle East. The new fragrance is inspired by the captivating contrast between the dark blue night sky and the glowing golden stars scattered in it, and simulates the attractiveness and splendor of an Arabian night full of stars. And I've got to say, just my personal preference, I like the look of this bottle more than Royal Night and Mysterious Night. I like the blue look. I dig it. The One Luminous Night is an elegant, spicy Oriental fragrance that explores the contrast between the coolness of the refreshing night sky and the warmth of golden stars, adding smoky notes of incense against the sweet notes of dates, iconic ingredients that pay tribute to the richness of the Middle East. This mixture of hot and cold creates a mysterious scent reminiscent of the desert breeze under the planetarium. under the planetarium. Is that lost in translation? I think of like a planetarium where you go and like the ceiling of a building turns into stars. The One Luminous Night opens with notes of basil and refreshing bergamot enlivened by hot black pepper. At the heart of the fragrance, the delicate sweetness of dates, a delicious classic Middle Eastern dessert. It's subtly blended with aromatic sage and geranium. At the base of the fragrance, the warm side of the fragrant meating is reflected through the creamy sandalwood, met with smoky notes of incense and a long-lasting amber. And after that, there's a bunch of just information about the bottle and how awesome it is and how it's been completely reinvented. It's completely mind-blowing. It's opulent, it's gilded, just all kinds of good stuff about that bottle. As I said though, I do like the bottle. I think it looks slick. So let's go over the note breakdown again, just really quickly. Top, basil, bergamot, black pepper. Mid, date, sage, and geranium. Base, sandalwood, frankincense, amber. Of all the fragrances here, this one and H24 are the ones I'm looking forward to the most. I really especially like dates being in the mid, and I hope that they're prominent. I really hope that they are, because dates are underutilized in perfumery as a note, in my opinion. So in the top, you got a little bit of citrus, potentially a little bit of a green spicy pop, depending on how much black pepper, how much basil is in there. Hard to tell without having it, obviously. In the mid, you have sage and geranium, so that really could reinforce the basil, but I'm hoping, again, that the date is up here and the other notes are supporting the date rather than the other way around. Then in the base, sandalwood, frankincense, amber should be creamy, sweet, and warm, and to dry down with a bit of smoke. Last up, the final fragrance, Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. This one comes out in March. It follows the original Man, Man Blue, Man Gray, Man Private, and Man Intense. Mercedes Man Bright is, as described by the brand, an eau de parfum that has more star power than ever. The fragrance of every success, ever. An irresistible fragrance that emphasizes the elegance and charisma of the wearer. That's good. A master in the art of seduction, almost in spite of himself. A star that dazzles even out of the spotlight. His more relaxed backstage persona proves once more that life is for living. That's big brain, big brain. Life, yeah, that's for living, my man. Perfumer Olivier Cresp has created a woody aromatic composition for this very contemporary dynamic fragrance with character. Bergamot, pink pepper, mint, lavender, incense, patchouli, cedar, and tonka offer a fragrance full of contrasts, a symbol of masculinity. And my favorite part here, Olivier Cresp, just hitting you with the knowledge bomb. I opted for a woody aromatic composition to create a highly contemporary dynamic fragrance with character. So with that, basically they were like, hey Olivier, we need some information to help sell this fragrance. And then he was like, ugh, whatever. And he just banged out that one sentence, printed it out. He folded it into a paper airplane and just threw it over to the marketing team and was like, whatever, man. So here's what we've got. A top of bergamot, pink pepper, and mint, a mid of lavender and incense, and a base of patchouli, cedarwood, and tonka. Nothing there really jumps out at me. You know, it's a lot of stuff that we've seen before, but it could be very good. Mercedes-Benz actually has some fragrances that, believe it or not, are very, very, very solid. But a lot of those are in the club line, Mercedes-Benz Club, especially black. That one's good. The Man line is more overlooked. And I've smelled a couple of them. I haven't smelled all of them. The couple that I've smelled have all been passable. They've been functional. You can wear them and people aren't gonna hate them, but none of them so far have really blown me away. But that's the last one for this video, Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. And you know what? After last year, I'll take new releases from anyone. I'll take any new releases you got. You got some new fragrance releases back there. What you got, I'll take it, man. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me. Again, shout out to Fragrance USA. Link in the description, code GENT15. Use it, get 15% off. Great prices, great fragrances. You know the deal. check them out. Let me know in the comments which of these 4 fragrances you're looking forward to the most. If I had to guess, it's going to be mainly Hermes and Dolce & Gabbana. And I would say by a pretty wide margin. All right, it's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.